You wake up to the sound of thunder rolling across Mount Olympus. Your first breath carries the scent of ambrosia, lightning, and the infinite expanse of sky. Your father isn't just any man. He's Zeus, king of the gods, the wielder of thunderbolts, the ruler of heaven and earth, the divine patriarch who commands both immortals and mortals. You're born into absolute cosmic authority, but that authority comes with the weight of divine expectation. Your cradle is carved from wood struck by your father's lightning, inlaid with metals forged in celestial fire. But outside your nursery, the other gods watch with jealous eyes and calculating minds. From your earliest memories, you're surrounded by the politics of immortality. Hera's barely concealed hatred for yet another of Zeus's illegitimate children. Apollo's competitive assessment of your potential divine talents. Athena's strategic evaluation of your usefulness to Olympian power structures. This is your inheritance. This is the price of divine blood. Your childhood is spent between two worlds that can never truly merge. The realm of gods, where your divine heritage grants you respect and power. The realm of mortals, where your human mother tries to give you something resembling normal love. Zeus visits sporadically, appearing in forms that range from golden rain to magnificent bulls. Each visit is a cosmic event that terrifies mortals and annoys immortals. Your tutors aren't just wise centaurs and learned priests. They're minor deities who understand the burden of navigating between divine and mortal expectations. Nymphs who teach you that beauty and power are tools, not just gifts. River gods who show you that even immortals must respect forces greater than themselves. They teach you that being Zeus's son means more than inherited power. It means inherited responsibility for maintaining cosmic order, for mediating between divine will and mortal limitation, for embodying the bridge between heaven and earth. Your father appears in your life like the storm itself, magnificent, overwhelming, and impossible to predict or control. When he manifests in his true divine form, reality itself bends around his presence. Mountains tremble, seas part, and the very air crackles with barely contained power. He speaks in voices that sound like thunder echoing across infinite space, but you also see the loneliness behind the majesty. The isolation that comes from being so far above everything else that genuine connection becomes impossible. The weight of making decisions that affect both immortal and mortal realms. Your father notices you struggling to control your emerging powers. Lightning flickers around your fingers when you're angry. Small storms gather when you're sad. Animals and plants respond to your emotional states. He takes you to the highest peak of Olympus for your first real conversation. You're 12 years old, barely understanding your own nature, but his presence fills the sky. He places his hand on your shoulder, and for a moment you feel the full weight of divine authority. Power, he says, his voice carrying the rumble of distant storms, is not about what you can destroy. It's about what you choose to protect. Every god before you has faced the same choice. Use your strength to serve yourself, or use it to serve something greater. The choice you make will determine whether you become a god worth worshipping or just another immortal tyrant. Your hands shake as divine electricity courses through your blood. The power feels intoxicating and terrifying simultaneously. You understand that you're being offered not just strength, but the responsibility that comes with strength. Your education becomes systematic preparation for divine responsibility. You learn to control weather from the spirits of wind and storm. Military strategy from Ares, though his lessons focus more on the glory of combat than its purposes. Justice and law from Athena, who teaches you that wisdom must temper power. Healing and music from Apollo, who shows you that creation is harder than destruction. Your divine siblings treat you with a mixture of acceptance and competition. Some welcome another ally in the complex politics of Olympus. Others see you as a potential rival for Zeus's favor and attention. All of them watch to see whether you'll develop into an asset or a threat. By your 16th birthday, you've mastered basic weather control and demonstrated inherited leadership abilities. You've mediated disputes between minor deities. You've helped mortals through natural disasters they couldn't handle alone. You've learned that divine power is most effective when mortals don't realize gods are involved. Your first major test comes during a crisis that threatens both divine and mortal realms. A group of titans, ancient enemies of the Olympian gods, have escaped their eternal imprisonment. They're not just seeking revenge against Zeus and his generation. They want to return the world to the chaotic state that existed before divine order was established. Your father summons the full council of Olympian gods to address the threat. But the gods are divided about strategy. Some want immediate, overwhelming force. Others prefer subtle manipulation and gradual containment. A few suggest negotiation and compromise. Zeus turns to you, his youngest son, for a perspective unclouded by ancient grudges. Your proposal surprises everyone. Instead of fighting the Titans directly, you suggest understanding why they escaped. What weakness in the cosmic order allowed their return? What legitimate grievances might be driving their rebellion? How can divine authority be restructured to prevent future challenges? Your questions anger the war-minded gods but intrigue the wisdom-focused deities. Zeus grants you permission to investigate, but with strict limitations. You cannot reveal Olympian secrets to enemies. You cannot promise concessions without divine council approval. You cannot endanger mortal populations through reckless diplomacy. Your mission into Titan territory becomes an education in the deeper nature of divine politics. You discover that the Titans aren't just angry about their imprisonment. They represent an older model of cosmic authority based on natural force rather than moral order. Their rebellion isn't just about power, but about fundamental disagreements over how divine authority should be exercised. Your negotiations with the Titan leaders reveal uncomfortable truths about Olympian rule. The gods' victory in the ancient war was based as much on political alliance as superior virtue. Many of the Titans' criticisms of divine authoritarianism have merit. The cosmic order that mortals worship as natural and just is actually the result of violent conquest and imposed hierarchy. But you also see why the Titan model failed. Power without moral restraint leads to chaos that serves no one. Authority without accountability becomes tyranny that destroys both rulers and subjects. The natural forces the Titans represent need divine wisdom to channel them constructively. Your final report to the Olympian Council creates a crisis of its own. You recommend neither war nor surrender, but transformation, a new model of divine authority that incorporates Titan concerns while maintaining Olympian order. Systematic reforms that address legitimate grievances while preserving cosmic stability. A synthesis that transcends the ancient conflict through evolutionary change rather than revolutionary destruction. The debate that follows reveals deep divisions among the gods. Progressive deities like Athena see wisdom in your approach. Conservative gods like Hera view any change as dangerous precedent. Martial deities like Ares consider negotiation with ancient enemies to be weakness. Your father listens to all arguments before making his decision. He approves your proposal, but with modifications that satisfy no one completely. Limited reforms that address some Titan concerns without fundamentally altering Olympian authority. Negotiated settlements that end the immediate crisis without resolving underlying tensions. Structural changes that improve divine governance without abandoning its basic premises. The compromise works, but creates new problems. Titans accept the settlement, but remain suspicious of future Olympian intentions. Progressive gods support the changes, but want more extensive reforms. Conservative gods accept your father's decision, but work to minimize its implementation. You've succeeded in preventing war, but at the cost of creating ongoing political instability. Your success brings new responsibilities that complicate your relationship with both divine and mortal realms. Zeus assigns you to oversee the implementation of the Titan settlement. This requires spending more time among the older gods and less time with mortal humans. Your divine nature becomes more prominent, your human connections more tenuous. You find yourself changing in ways that disturb your mortal mother and worry your divine siblings. More powerful, but also more distant. More wise, but also more isolated. More godlike, but also more inhuman. The transformation accelerates when you're granted full divine status. The ceremony takes place during a cosmic alignment that happens once every 1,000 years. All the Olympian gods attend, along with representatives from allied divine pantheons. You drink ambrosia that makes your immortality permanent and irrevocable. But immortality comes with costs that no one adequately prepared you for. You watch your mortal mother age and die while you remain young. Your human friends become distant memories as centuries pass like seasons. Your emotional connections to the mortal world fade as your divine perspectives expand. You begin to understand why your father often seems so remote from human concerns. When you've existed for millennia, individual human lives start to seem brief and insignificant. When you can control natural forces, human struggles appear petty and easily solved. When you know the cosmic patterns, mortal confusion seems willful rather than inevitable. Your new role as mediator between different divine factions keeps you busy for centuries. You help negotiate treaties between Olympian and Titan survivors. You mediate disputes between Greek gods and their Roman counterparts. You facilitate communication between divine pantheons from different cultures. But you also notice disturbing changes in the world you're supposed to protect. Mortals are becoming less religious, more skeptical of divine intervention. Scientific understanding is replacing mythological explanations for natural phenomena. Human technology is beginning to accomplish things that once required divine power. The age of gods is ending, replaced by an age of reason that has no place for your kind. Your father summons you for what turns out to be your final important conversation. He's not dying. Gods don't die the way mortals do. But he's fading, becoming less relevant to a world that no longer needs divine intervention. The worship that sustains divine power is diminishing. The fear and reverence that made gods necessary are disappearing. Every age, he tells you, gets the gods it deserves. The mortals who worshipped us needed powerful protectors and terrible punishments. The mortals who are replacing them need knowledge and tools and systems. We could fight the change, but that would make us the enemies of the very people we're supposed to serve. Or we can adapt, find new ways to fulfill our purpose in a world that expresses its divinity through different means. Your choice defines the final phase of your immortal existence. You could resist the changing world, try to restore the old ways through force or manipulation. You could withdraw from mortal affairs entirely, join the other fading gods in splendid irrelevance. Or you could transform yourself, find new ways to exercise divine authority in a secularizing world. You choose transformation, but not the kind anyone expects. Instead of trying to restore worship through miracles and interventions, you begin working through inspiration and influence, guiding scientists toward discoveries that serve human welfare, inspiring artists to create works that elevate human consciousness, influencing leaders to make decisions that promote justice and compassion. Your divine power becomes subtle, indirect, almost invisible, but also more pervasive and ultimately more effective than the old methods of obvious intervention. The modern world doesn't recognize your influence, but it benefits from your continued protection. Natural disasters that could have been catastrophic are mysteriously mild. Scientific breakthroughs happen just when humanity needs them most. Leaders find unexpected wisdom during crucial historical moments. Yet you've become the god that the age of reason needs. Invisible, subtle, working through natural means rather than supernatural spectacle. Your immortality continues, but in a form your ancient self wouldn't recognize. You're no longer Zeus's son commanding thunderbolts and demanding worship. You're something new, a divine consciousness working through human achievement rather than replacing it. The other gods either adapt as you have or fade into myth and memory. Some find new roles as inspiration for human creativity and moral development. Others become symbolic representations of psychological and natural forces. A few simply withdraw from active involvement, becoming legends studied by scholars rather than powers affecting daily life. Your father's final transformation surprises everyone. Instead of fading or adapting, he disperses himself throughout the natural world, becoming the physical laws that govern storms and electricity, the cosmic principles that maintain order and balance, the fundamental forces that make existence possible. He doesn't die, but he stops being a personality and becomes a principle. You attend his dissolution ceremony with a mixture of grief and admiration. He's chosen the most complete possible adaptation, becoming the very foundations of the reality he once ruled from above. Your own future stretches ahead, infinite and uncertain. You're immortal, but the nature of your immortality keeps evolving. You're powerful, but your power must constantly find new expressions. You're divine, but divinity itself is being redefined by the world you serve. The Son of Zeus has become something Zeus never imagined. A god for an age that doesn't believe in gods, working through human agency rather than replacing it. inspiring natural development rather than imposing supernatural solutions. Serving mortals by helping them become more than mortal rather than keeping them dependent on divine intervention. Your story continues, but it's no longer a story about the son of Zeus. It's a story about consciousness evolving beyond the categories that created it. About power learning to serve rather than dominate. About immortality finding purpose in nurturing mortality. About divinity that expresses itself through the very human achievements that seem to deny its existence. The thunder still rolls across the sky, but now it sounds less like the voice of an angry god and more like the applause of a proud father watching his children surpass everything he thought possible.